Actually, I think it was because of that I ended up buying more Sisters of Battle, just because I was like, this chibi one is awesome. I need to paint more. I thought the Indominus box was going to be a mix of Sisters of Battle, Space Marines versus Necrons. Kind of like you get two armies against like a big Necron army, but can't.
And welcome to a new episode of More Than Dice. I'm Gonzo.
I'm Nessie.
And John is still not back from getting his alcohol. He must have decided to go brew it and make it himself. Because it's taking him longer than 2 minutes.
I can't hear you. What happens when I got speakers and a microphone? I can hear you down the stairs.
That's the reason why it was said. Welcome to episode 130.
Really? You don't know?
130 what? Come on.
Look, it's Kathy's job.
She's not here, so it defaults to you.
That's not true. It's not true at all.
Oh, hold on. I got to tell her. Forgot. I'm actually on 133. Sorry, I had to turn on my airbrush today. Let's turn that off.
It is 133.
It is 133.
Nice.
Episode 133, and is our Gunpla episode. If you notice, Kathy has changed and is not here. And right below me is our friend Nessie, Nestor, aka Nessie Knows. He's going to be hanging out with us today talking about Gunpla while I try to build my first Gunpla model. And we're going to ask him tons and tons of questions. And this is the episode that Banyan has been dying to have. So
I like that you're saying that before he's back down on his computer.
yeah.
Awesome.
He's still making his drink.
He's there. He's on.
Oh, he made it.
So, before we get started, let's go ahead and get all of our shout outs, everything. We want to thank Muse on Minis for hosting all of our stuff and providing a ton of everything going around, pushing our podcast out to everybody. So we appreciate them more than anything. Len Stahl from Metalhead Minis. Great sponsor. She is also selling a bunch of our products, guys. If you go online, you can go and find the link to our store. We sell dice for our podcast, measuring devices for our podcast, you name it. And also you can find the Warfare Weekend stuff if you want to get Warfare Weekend 2020, cry type dice and pins. You can find that there. We also want to thank Creature Caster for us being a Creature Creator. They're awesome miniatures. You can also check them out. And Dan from Tectonic Craft Studios. We'll have some stuff in a giveaway for his stuff pretty soon. Go check him out. He makes some really cool laser terrain. But that, did I get everybody? I think I did. Yeah. I did. But today we have Nestor here. Who's going to be joining us for Gunpla. Nestor, what are you drinking today?
Water.
Nestor's on a water kick.
Yep. I'm going back to work, so no hangover for tomorrow morning.
Hangover. That's amateur stuff.
It is, but I don't drink that often, so yeah, it still happens.
Fair enough.
John, what are you drinking today?
I have my cherry cola mixed with cherry vodka mixed with cherry juice.
I think you like cherry.
I do. It's actually very tasty. But it's tart cherry juice. It's not too sweet, which I think is the key.
I am drinking a Macallan 18. Scotch of choice today. We'll be going back to work in a couple of weeks, so I'm going to be celebrating quite heavily with stuff. We do have some shout-outs this week of people that have passed away. One that I know that it's not Wilford Brimley. I mean, Legionnaire posted on there, and I think, John, you sent it to me, yesterday?
Yeah.
And I had to think about it for a second, and I was like, oh, yeah. And
everyone knows him for the wrong things.
Correct. But the one thing I remember him for more than anything is because I grew up with it more, was Cocoon.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember him mostly from The Adventures of Remo Williams, since that's sort of my jam.
Oh.
And then also from Hard Target, the John Woo, Jean-Claude Van Damme action movie, where he plays basically a Cajun like Robin Hood. It's actually really awesome. It's one of his best roles, honestly. He just nails that accent every time. It's so ridiculous, but he just all in on it. It's great. It
I
really
think it was
is.
Uncle Boudreaux. I think he was Uncle Boudreaux or something like
Yes,
that.
yes.
God.
But he's great in everything. He literally he's in a movie. He's great. He's in The Thing. He is just great. And I mean, later in life, he was known more for, like you said, the diabetes commercials, diabetes, if you prefer, and then also
Yep.
for Quaker Oats. And here's the funny thing: is he jumped into movies. He was actually in his late 40s, but he already looked like he was 60. Like you'd hard to believe when all those movies that we love, he was late 40s, really early 50s, and he looks way older than that.
Yeah. Yeah, I was shocked. I honestly thought he passed away a couple of years ago, and like, oh, he's still around. Oh,
So
wait,
it's sort
no,
of
he's
like
not.
April Notice for you.
So, yeah, what was interesting is, we always say that, the diabetes thing or whatever. But I remember Cocoon when that movie first came out, and that was like a big shockwave, and it was super, super popular, and everybody got really into it and stuff. And I totally forgot about him being in Remo Williams, and I really liked Remo Williams. I thought that was an amazing, amazing show back in the time, a movie. I always thought the line where what's his face is like, Chung, you're amazing, and he goes, no,
No,
I am better than
I'm
that.
better than that.
And it's
Well,
just,
Earl Grey, but
yeah,
that's the movie.
but still, it's just lines from the movie. Also, Herman Cain passed away from COVID, which is
Ironic.
ironic,
Really.
sad.
It is sad,
Yes.
even if I don't have a lot of sympathy, because at that point, I'm sorry, you made your bed, you get to sleep in it. I wish it didn't involve death. I wish you would have caught it, recovered, and been able to speak out against it, because that would have been better. And Herman Cain was a cancer survivor. I don't know how you survive cancer and then go willfully ignorantly into this whole thing, but everyone, wear your masks.
Yeah.
Wear your masks.
Wear your masks. And also, we want to thank everybody that watches and listens to us on all of our different platforms. We want to thank you a lot. It means so much. Just so you know, we have a new podcast that will be coming underneath our banner. There was a new podcast called Through the Void Gate. They are doing Warcaster type information. And we sent them a test stream, and they really enjoyed it. They'll be getting up a Facebook page and a bunch of other stuff. But their first post went out. They posted they posted it on YouTube, and we took it and posted it under our stream. And in 1+ days, a little over a day, they had like over 400+ listens. And so they're
Awesome.
like, "Yes, I am on." And I'm like, "Good. We're happy to have you on." Just so you'll be seeing posts about that, including a Minority Report and so on and so forth. Also, if you think there's a podcast that needs a little help and shout out, send them our way. We don't mind helping people, especially new people, get their voice heard. It's always nice to give everybody that extra leap and jump into everything that they need to do. We don't mind hosting it and giving a little help with people. So be on the lookout for that one. Like I said, episode 1's up there, and you'll see probably 2 and 3 pretty soon. Guys, crappy time out there. I want everybody to be safe. I want everybody to be safe. Don't go out unless you have to, or if you do have to go out, make sure you wear your mask. Keep healthy. Look out for everybody. I wish I could give everybody a hug and make it say it's going to be better, but it's probably going to be a little bit before that happens.
Hugging is advised right now, social distancing.
Yeah.
Want to.
Yeah.
We'll give you a virtual hug.
We'll give you virtual hugs. Also, if you need anything, don't hesitate to send one of us a message. We'll sit and chat and talk with you, get things done.
Just over the phone because you need some interaction. By all means, hit us up. We're more than happy to.
And if you're into computer games, you like MechWarrior, John would be more than happy to pimp it out and get you hooked, and then give you shit when you don't get to play as much because you're busy with other projects. Or
that he was adulting.
Elder Scrolls Online. If you're playing on PlayStation 4, got a game, look me up. I'll come and play with you. I ain't got a problem with that. From all of us, Nessie included, be safe out there. Cheers.
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 Oh, yeah, that's good. I'm going to switch over to our paint cam because you're just going to have to see me paint, which really isn't painting, but it's going to be me building mottos. Gonzo's still having problems figuring out the whole Twitch thing? No. Everything's fine.
All looks fine. I mean, depends. Is the volume fine? Is they got messed up?
Yeah, that's true. We always have volume issues.
Think that.
Okay, so before we get started and we get on this thing, gonna be putting together this model right here. Use the cool little cross lights from my thing. Ironblood Orphans Mobile Suit Gundam, and gonna be working on that cool sticker. Showed that off already, but it's really cool.
Oh yes.
Because the place that I bought this from was what was the one? USA Gundam is the one you sent me to.
USA Gundam story. Yep.
Yep. They sent me and they gave me that sticker, which is cool. That kind of has a little extra bonus for me that I think is really cool for them to do.
They've done it for the past 2 months. That's the second sticker, and this year this month there's a new one. So I'm already trying to find out what I want to order so I can get that one.
All right, so of course all the cool instructions. We're going to start from page 1 and go from there. I'm going to set this up so I can kind of look at it like this. And do that and get going, because the first part is building the body. I'm going to work on this while we do this, but Nessie, before we get too much into Gundam, tell us who you are, what you do, pimp your podcast out that you're not podcast, but you do Twitch streaming too.
I do Twitch streaming. I do YouTube videos. So, well, I am Nestor Medina, also known as Nessie Knows. I am from New York City. So we were the epicenter for COVID. We decided we didn't like that, so we kicked it to Florida. Sorry. But I paint and build and play miniature games, just like you guys. But mostly it's painting and building because there's no playing. I'm not on that tabletop simulator thing. I never really, it's not my thing.
Nah, it's cool, and if you like it, you like it. But yeah, it's different.
But I also build Gundam models, and that just happened over about 18 months ago. And I told Lynn, I was like, Lynn, I'm really into doing Gundams. She's like, you should do a class about it at Gen Con. And I thought she was joking. And if you know Lynn, she doesn't really joke when she tells you should do a class about it. She's actually serious. So I was like, okay, well, here's the class, and this is the model I'm thinking. And it's the model that Gonzo is going to be building, which is the Vidar from Iron-Blooded Orphans. And it's actually the one I have here, fully built with a nice weapon and everything. It looks really cool. So it will look as cool, if not better, because that was the first model I built. And the pieces are, if you've built any Space Marine model, if you've built any plastic miniature, you know you got to clean the nubs, you got to clean the mold lines, which are very few on Gundam models, but it's addicting. It's like, well, do I get to play with them? No, you put them on your shelf, and there are rules. People do make rules for games of them, but you put them on your shelf and they look really cool. So then you buy another one, and then you buy another one, and then you're like Gonzo, who's bought 4 kits already.
I've not bought 4. Only bought 3.
He's buying 4 this week. Watch. He's gonna, and then you just end up doing the entire kit. The kits are great. The plastic is very good, and the stickers get annoying, and some people just don't bother putting the stickers, so they end up painting it. So that's another thing. So there's a whole there's a whole contest of painting these, of dioramas, of I mean, Seth from Game Castle has done classes of teaching how to paint Gundams, and he's like a professional Gundam painter. I haven't even painted a Gundam. It's probably next on my list. And people are like, "Well, you've painted miniatures." It's completely different, uh, but they're a lot of fun, and you can see like once you start putting the body together, then you're like, "Oh, what's next?" Well, I got the head, and then the arms and the legs, and next thing you know, you're forming Voltron. Uh, this
Now,
this kit goes pretty fast.
I have a question. I'm going to try to build as quickly as possible, but why do we call it Gunpla? Why not
So
Gundam model building, or what? Where did that come from? Because I never knew about this, and the reason why. Okay, I've always saw Gundam models, and I always thought they were cool and stuff, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. And then one day you posted something up on Facebook, and I was like, oh, that one looks really freaking sweet. And I was like, I wonder if I can find one that's cheap and reasonable, that's not going to break the bank. And that's when we started talking about it. And I was like, okay, you're coming on the podcast. But what is Gunpla?
so it's short for Gundam Plastics. And they're a specific plastic when they make Gundams, that they just like if you notice that blue runner, and they're not called sprue, they're called runners. The blue runner also has a mixture of the black and the white and all that combined. That's the way they inject mold from Bandai or whoever Bandai third companies to make them. And they're a specific chemical. So it's always been Gundam plastic kits. You can buy Gundam metal kits, but I haven't built one, so I don't think I want to build one. But yeah, Gunpla is short for Gundam plastic.
Gotcha. Now, I've got my glue handy. Should I be gluing all this stuff together?
Nope.
You sure?
100% positive.
Okay. I mean, because I have all the Gorilla Glue and all the plastic glue and everything else.
You'll never. The only time is if a piece gets really finicky after you're all done. You may want to put that arm. Certain hands have like the back of the hand it's a simple piece that it keeps coming off. You may want to glue that. And the reason why the back of the hand comes off is so you can switch weapons for the closed fist. But 9 out of 10 times it stays pretty stable. Even the seams are. If you're like any hobbyist, you'll know that if you file down the seams from pieces, connect the joints together, you won't need the glue anyway, so it looks pretty easy.
Because I'm clipping everything, just following instructions. I am going kind of quick because we are talking. I want to try to get this done as much as possible and do this stuff. But the plastic feels like normal, model plastic. So it's not like, a big, huge, change or whatever, but it definitely feels just like, normal plastic on any kit. Of course, all the instructions are in Japanese, except for a little bit of English, like turn the part, do this, do that. Not much, in here. Everything seems to fit pretty good so far. I'm in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pieces so far, and everything goes pretty smooth.
Yeah, Bannon, do you advise gluing some parts that are meant not to move? That's completely up to you, because they're so imposable. Even at this height, you can always mess around with the pose, unless you're 100% you don't want it to move. You don't have to glue them, unless you feel like that's always the creator's choice of the kit. So
now I had joined a couple of Gundam Discords and Gundam forums and different things just to kind of check it out and see what it is, and there are a lot of different things that I was seeing, and like one of them I saw was the chibi version. Is there a specific, whatever? Because I did see those models when I went to the game store, and I was like, I'm not into the chibi stuff, but I, see how people like it. Is there a specific, thing for that? Is there like a specific category they want to call it? Or is it just chibi?
Those are just called the super deformed.
Okay.
Super deformed chibis, and here's an example of one. So he was on my desk before I dropped him, and his arm came off. Those are great for kids. You got an 8-year-old, 10-year-old, boom, keep them busy. It's a 30 minutes. The one you're building is a high grade. It's a HG grade. That's a 1/144th scale, so it means that's 1/144th of an actual Gundam. You want to see what a real Gundam looks like? Go to Japan. They just built one.
They made it flip everyone off.
They made it flip everyone off. It's full size, but the 1/144ths are about 6 inches, give or take, and they are the entry level to most Gundam kits. So the one you're building is pretty entry level. I would say standard hobby time is about 90 minutes. Depending, the stickers add to the stress level. Become friendly with tweezers. Very friendly with tweezers, or you can paint them, like I said. That's the best entry level to start with. The next step up are the real grade or the RG kits. They're still 1/144th scale, but they have an inner skeleton compared to that kit, which is just snapped together. The inner skeleton gives it more posability, and they go in price, obviously. So it'll be about $10 to $15. Okay. So
like the one that I'm doing right now was like what, $20, I think is what it was.
Should be about $15 to $20.
Yeah, give or take with shipping and all that stuff. And then I have this one, and you say this is an HG. What is the HG for?
That's high grade.
Okay. And what's the difference between this one and this one? Between this one and the one I'm building?
Nothing. Yours is also an HG.
Okay. So, and then I went and got this one yesterday, and it's the MG that you were saying.
Yep. The MG is the next step up after real grade, which is 1/100th, so it's about 10 inches high. And it's a lot more pieces. Also has the inner skeleton, but it's a lot more complicated, a lot more moving parts. You can expect to see servos moving for the arms. You can see the joints on the legs actually be hidden when they're moving, and posability goes through the roof on some of these.
Okay. Now, and is there anything after the master?
There is what's called a perfect grade, which is I think you need a degree in mechanical engineering to build. On top of that, build it on a full moon with covered with there's a lot. The moving parts on a PG are sometimes mixed with metal as well, like screws. You'll spend 13 pieces on just the finger on some of these. So they get really out there, and they all have expandability for LED lights and sounds and just enormous amount of upgrades. But the perfect grades are the showpiece for your home. That's the centerpiece of your table. It's looking really massive compared to all the little ones that you have around your house.
Yeah, Baney had to put one together, and I feel like he was working on it for almost a year.
It's possible.
In little fits and spats. Not like any big, thing. We'd get up there, watch a movie, and he'd work a little bit on it while we're watching a movie. It took him a while. It's super legit. It is awesome. Even as swords, it'll poke you. Good lord.
Yeah, the posability on that is it's all the finger joints move, the wrists, the inside of that palm moves because it can close. It can bend the wrist a certain way, and it's actually just like a skeletal structure. So the limit of the skeletal structure is your limit. So
okay. Now, this one that I'm building, it's all different colored parts and everything. And for the most part, once it's done and completed, it's just going to look like a normal unpainted model colored plastic, correct?
It is, yeah. The color kind of just gives it to the point where you don't have to. It gives it more pop than just a standard gray plastic. So that's the good thing about the colored plastic.
Okay. So if I were wanting to paint this, should I paint these pre-assembled, clip them and then paint them, or what should I do?
So what I've seen a lot of Gundam painters do is they'll put it together, make sure it's as perfect as it can be, and then paint it in sub pieces. So they'll paint the head separate, they'll paint the arms and the body, and they'll even take away the armor plating for some, and just paint the armor plating because of the bigger models. The armor plating can come off and not affect the entire model itself.
Gotcha. On top of that, what about we've always seen, and I've seen it, and it's the pins, the Gundam pins for filling in. Because I mean, like this stuff right here, I don't know if you can see it really well, but like I got this little indent, and we've seen it. And actually, John had showed us a picture of one where the guy put a pin and it just filled in that area and it was done. Expand on that, because I mean that just looks too good to be true. Is these pins that does everything?
It's panel lining, so it's like black lining on miniatures. So you can go in there with a Tamiya type of black line ink that you can use. It comes with a little brush, and you can just dab it in there, and the ink will just flow like magic. It'll just flow into the crevices. You can do that with the Gundam line pens that they make as well.
I've seen those. I see those at B. Dalton Books or whatever.
Right, and you can even do it. I've done it with India inks, because why wouldn't I have India black ink? And I do it as well, just dab it a little bit in with a small brush, and you're great, and it'll just fill in the panel lines, and you could even make it'll pop up even more without even having to paint the model.
So, do you just build and let them go, or do you do the painting and all that stuff too?
So I've done the panel lining, and that was pretty good. I feel that the panel lining should be done more when the model is painted, where the kit is painted. It'll look better. So I haven't painted one. I tried, and I just was not feeling the paint I was using. I was using some brand of paint that people were like, oh, you should use this brand, and I was like, I kind of use a different brand. But they've made so many different paints, just like any game company, they make their own paints.
Oh yeah.
And SMS, AK Interactive, that they use, because AK does a lot of scale models, like tanks and such. They make them for Gundams as well, and a lot of oil brushers and such. So they do a whole series on just painting Gundam kits with their paints. But they're like, you need to use it at a certain PSI, and I'm like, all right, I paint miniatures. I don't want a recipe. I want to do it my way. But yeah, the painting it looks like it's a lot of fun. It's one of those. I was gonna do one for Gen Con this year. I was like, I want to paint one for the Gundam competition. And when COVID hit, I was like, oh, I guess I'm not painting a Gundam this year. So I got another year. Woo!
Because whenever I saw these, I've seen these models in the store, forever, and I was like, okay, this is just cool little make a little model and stuff. But there is a huge, and I don't want to call it subculture, but this is the best way to put it, of people that are behind this, that there's big competition for
Yes.
painting these models now. Because I know last year Lynn and I talked about it when she was doing the Gen Con stuff. She was like, the Gunpla stuff is really, really, and I don't say going mainstream, but it's actually hitting a lot bigger than people say are now, which is cool because I mean, John will tell you, giant fucking robots.
I mean,
Yeah.
Enough said. Yeah.
Yep.
Enough said. So it's interesting to see that it's getting more popularity and people are, doing them and putting them together, and it's actually getting a scene within the painting community because I think there's a few that you've posted up on your Facebook feed, and I was like, damn, that's a cool fucking model. And I was like, that one looks really neat. And then like this one you got me, it's cool looking. And then the second one, the other HG whatever that I got, it had some cool looking parts and cool looking poses. And I'm like, yep, I'll get that one. It looks cool, looks neat, a lot of fun. And so it was interesting to see that they're breaking out a little bit more than, hey, there's John in his basement putting together giant robots type thing. Which
I live upstairs. Banyan lives in the basement, puts together giant robots.
okay, so Banyan. But now here's my question: does everything have to be a Gundam to be a Gunpla?
Gunpla is more specific to Gundam plastic. I have a few of the Flame Toys Transformers, which are similar. They're not Gundam per se, obviously, because they're Transformers. But like I just ordered Megatron for the Transformers line, but it's not a Gundam, obviously, but it's the same type of plastic. So
what would you call that if it's not a Gundam? If it's not Gunpla, what do you call?
I mean,
giant fucking robot.
Giant fucking
robot. Honestly, Gonzo, it's sort of like what do you call a tissue that's not a Kleenex?
Correct, and that's what I'm wondering.
Yeah, like I still post. When I do my Twitch streams for building Gundams, it's still like the Transformer stuff is getting thrown in there.
Yeah,
because it's
the same sort of thing. It attracts the same people.
Right. I mean, if you like Transformers, there's a 9 out of 10 times you're gonna like Gundams or other giant robots of like Macross or Robotech, right? So like, I'm waiting to get a Macross kit because I grew up watching Robotech as a kid.
Oh yeah.
And that was my introduction. And as a kid, everyone was like, "But you should watch Gundam." And I was like, "What? No, Robotech." And then they were like, "No, Macross." So I was like, "Okay, I know the difference now." But like, it's giant. It's a giant fucking robot.
On that note, I would love potentially to get one of those really nice kits of something like Gypsy Danger from Pacific Rim. That would be awesome.
Yes, those are available, and the LED kit makes like it. Yeah, the LED kit is great and it's cheap. You just like it's an $11 piece. You just put it in the center and it glows orange and it's really sweet. Sorry, John.
Do we see Googling coming up right now?
I think you.
No, you can hear my keyboard when it goes off.
Right. Yeah, Bandai also does the Star Wars models and Zoids, which I mean we all grew up knowing about Zoids. You know, giant panthers with like massive amounts of weapons all over the place and dragons. I mean, those are great kits.
So if I say I'm going to put together a Gunpla model and it's one of the Transformer ones, nobody's going to be like, "Oh well, you fucking idiot, that's not Gunpla." Or is there a diehard fan base like that?
Depends on what group you go to. Reddit will probably be like, "Well, that's not really considered a Gunpla," and then you just block that guy.
And you just what? I didn't hear that.
You block that guy.
You just block that guy.
Okay.
It is.
But like so shocker, I'm from New York City. I'm Puerto Rican. So I'm part of the Gundam community, that the Gundam Puerto Rico, like Gunpla Puerto Rico, and because there's a huge community of guys in Puerto Rico that build Gundams. But I've posted Transformers, I've posted the Evangelion kit, and they don't care. Whatever. They love it. But then you get that one guy's like, well, it's not really a Gunpla. I'm like, okay, thank you. I did not ask.
That's true. I mean, just imagine them putting up their glasses and well, that sir is not technically a Gunpla.
Yeah, that's what ends up happening.
Yeah, and that's what I was kind of curious about. That because I mean, to me, it's a model, and if it looks cool, whatever. Something I did see and I thought was interesting was there was people that were talking about aftermarket kits and add-ons that you can do. Because like this guy right here, there's no stand.
No, the stand is normally separate. They've actually started adding stands for some of the bigger kits.
Mm-hmm.
But they make the stands for the size. So that's a 1/144th scale kit. So you're looking for a 1/144th scale stand. They normally around $7 to $10. The bigger kits obviously are more because they'll need more connection points to hold more weight because shocker, the MGs and the PGs start getting very heavy. Banyan, I'm not sure if you know how much yours weighs, but that PG I'm pretty sure is way over 3 or 4 pounds. So
Oh yeah.
having it stand on to do some crazy pose midair is gonna need a heavier stand.
Yes, absolutely.
Actually, I had that on stand, and then I kicked it out. I had the one you're building on a stand, and then I kicked it out for another Gundam, and then I kicked that one out for another Gundam. And I had it on Starscream for a while. So like I rotate the stands all the time.
You can get stands on Amazon and a lot of the other sites too. Even the sites that sell like Transformer models, they'll get stands. And if you need there's all sorts of stands out there. You guys can search that stuff. It is a crazy amount.
Yeah, and they get very in depth as well because the stand could also be part of a diorama, like a space scene, and like behind it has got exploding missiles that you just add to the stand, and you're like, okay.
Why is everything out of stock?
Because it's COVID and everybody's doing models right now, and
Yeah,
The only thing I could find was a hobby grade Gypsy Avenger from the second movie, but it's out of stock. Not that expensive, like you said, Nestor. It's not that bad.
yeah, and they're all like I said, most of them are about like about 6 to 7 inches depending on the kit. You're working on the shoulder now.
yep, almost done with this one shoulder.
So, Banny, I mentioned what Discord or resources would you advise hooking into if you were going to expand into adding maybe sound and light into your next perfect grade kit? Because he's crazy like that.
I would always check. I would say for Facebook, if you check with USA Gundam Store, and Gunpla Space Builders, on Facebook, that community will lead you to the right one because there's so many different ones. But Gunpla Builders on Facebook is where I go to most of the time for like I'm thinking of painting this. I'm thinking of painting. Where should I go? What paints should I use? Everyone swears by SMS paints. Have I used it? No. Why? Well, I'm painting other things right now, but at least I know where I can go to ask people. Yes, Banyan, Gunpla Builders. And USA Gundam Store, their Facebook page is very helpful because there's a lot of people that talk in that page, and they could point you to at least a couple of other different resources. They are also in Florida, so I make fun of Florida, but I hope they stay safe as well. And then there's another one for me. Actually, there's one in Jersey that I've been to, but I don't really, I haven't talked to them more so I really couldn't point you to them. But Gunpla Builders on Facebook, and if you find, there should just be one, but if you find 4, I'm sorry, I don't know which one exactly it would be. Actually, I could find that out. It would be nice. But yeah, Gunpla Builders on Facebook is probably the best place to go. And if you check, there might be one for the state you're in. Like there's one for New York City, New Jersey, that I'm in, and so the current Gunpla Builders has is by builder the owner's Richard Flanagan, and it's got a purple Gundam on the cover, and it's got way over a lot of people. Actually, can I put the link in the Twitch?
You should be able to put the link in the Twitch. Unless we had to block it because we had more reports this week.
Hope not. If not, yeah, well, that's it. That worked.
Okay, yeah. Just do it, and then if not, we can get it fixed.
Yep. But it's got a lot of guys in there. I think it's got way over 24,000 people.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, they do a lot of testing, like combining of kits as well, of custom kits. Conversions like crazy, because the kits are so interactive together. The arm of one kit might be very close to another kit, and you might be like, well, I want that shoulder pad because it's got like the spikes on it, and then you'll just combine it on there and it'll look really smooth.
That's when the hobby gets really out of control. I'm just letting you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I have like
someone who's bought miniatures kits for just a single part, it gets out of control.
I have 8 Gundam kits that I need to build, and it's not like I can't build them. It's more like, well, I have like 4 boxes of Star Wars Legion. Let me put those boxes together, because it's like, all right, really quick, I can build like 7 miniatures, and then. But when you're building a Gundam, it can get very intensive, and especially the higher grade kits, the MGs and the perfect grades, they'll take weeks and weeks of time. I have 2 master grades waiting to be built, and I'm like, why did I buy this? Oh wait, it was cheaper.
You got to clear your schedule for those.
Yes, I definitely recommend that. And now he's up to the forearm.
B-33.
And I love how intricate they get, because you wouldn't think how, like, the pieces just get, they get together, and next thing you know, your arm bends.
Yes.
And you're like, whoa, wait a minute. Wow, wait, that just happened? Like, the arm bends completely, and the wrist of the movement and everything goes so great that you're like, well, I can do this more. And next thing you know, your hips and your waist and the hips, the knees, the everything, the foot, the ankle, all bend, and they get better. So yeah, if they ever made, I think the Space Marine that they made in Gundam style, I was very interested in building it, but then I looked at it more intricate. I was like, I've kind of seen better kits. So I'm waiting for the next generation. Like,
remember, GW is not a big dog when it comes to this. Like, in miniature games, sure, but when it comes to plastic kits in general, Bandai's like, yeah, you okay, but, step up your game.
Right. I saw it. I looked at the pieces. I was like, this looks cool, but my first Barbados over there looks way better. So I'll wait until they do it again, if they do it again.
Had to take a piece apart because I did not put that part together correctly. And of course, this is a piece that has a bunch of stickers on it, and we're going to forgo the stickers. And
it's not like you can't necessarily take it apart and put stickers on later if you want to.
Yep.
Ta-da.
Yep.
And then we're on to A23. We're on to some hands.
There's a lot of giant robots that I love that would be great and that kind of thing. A good, BattleTech mech and that kind of Gunpla would be awesome.
Yeah, I've seen a Mad Cat similar to that style. But I mean, they've made so many great kits and like your giant robots. Come on.
Yeah, giant robots.
Like the Transformers were the first. It was Optimus Prime that caught my eye, and then I was like, well, I like this kit on top of that, and they came home with like 4 kits, like all because I wanted one Optimus Prime.
You're speaking Banyan's language now. You mentioned a Mad Cat. He's such a Clan fanboy.
Oh yeah, that's what I love playing when I was playing Mech Warrior 2. So in college when I should have been studying. Ouch.
You're playing that stuff? Dude, I majored in skipping class and minored in Samurai Showdown.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Gonzo, that's what I was talking about. That one piece that you're putting on the hand.
Uh-huh.
That's what a lot of people decide if they want to glue it on, because they're not gonna take it apart because they know they're gonna leave the weapon in that hand.
Gotcha.
Sometimes you have to take it apart to slide in a sword or something.
If it gets a little loose, you could probably just put some blue tack in there, and it'll stay in until you decide it needs to come off.
That's also possible, yeah.
Do not discount the power of blue tack.
No, sir. It's held up a lot of things in this
Oh,
house.
yeah. Blue tack is the shizzle. We
Ooh.
used it at the old place to keep the twister for the lock didn't work, and like it come off, so I just literally put blue tack on there, stuck it back on. We're good. Sorry for that smack, guys. That was probably loud.
Right.
What I loved about this one is because he's got a rapier as a weapon.
John.
Like, is a rapier really a good weapon to be using against another giant robot? It
Right,
really
but
has
it's like-
squishy bits. You're like,
It's awesome. He looks so cool. Mine has his rapier in the back and with the pistol up front. Like, he looks very regal. Because the pilot from the show is very regal. He's a swordsman. Like, all his Gundams have swords. And some of them are
Saber's classic.
right. So to have him with the rapier was like, okay, he looks pretty cool. But he also has like a folding sword, which I should find somewhere around here. It's actually pretty crazy. He has a folding sword, and then he has. I'm like, why do you have a folding sword? Like, what is wrong with you? What are you killing that you need a folding sword? Other giant robots.
I always thought that's why they went with the beam saber, because having a big giant sword didn't make sense. But if it's an energy sword,
Yep, and it goes with the storyline. Like the pilot this is the 3rd version of his Gundam, because his first one got wrecked, so he upgraded to a 2nd version, and then when that got wrecked, he upgraded to a 3rd version.
I'll be fair, the last Gundam series or the Gundam anything I watched came out in 1991, so it's been a little bit.
Was that Gundam Seed?
No, it was way before Gundam Seed. It was Gundam F91.
Oh my god!
That and War in the Pocket are the last ones I watched.
So I ended up watching Gundam Wing because everyone swore by it, and I was like, I don't know if I like this, and I told my friend, he's like, it's like I slapped him.
Well, I mean, not everything's perfect. So
I was like, sorry.
It's military sci-fi, and it sort of went from military sci-fi to pure sci-fi, which is cool if that's what you want. But some of us have seen a lot of giant robot stuff, so we don't want it to necessarily step on the toes of our other giant robot stuff.
Yeah, and so like I like my series, and the Gundam Wing is cool because it's the first one I saw that had the special Gundam with the wing type body on it, and which everyone's like, oh my god, the Gundam Wing is so great. I'm like, okay, cool.
I love the Gundam look. I'll be honest. Gonzo may hated the movie, but in Ready Player One, when he had the original Gundam show up, I was like, hell's yes.
The RX-78, there you go. That bad boy drops, and everyone swears that's a great kit. And people ask me, hey, what kit should I get? Some told me tell them the RX-78 because it's the classic Gundam, but the Vidar, the one I told Gonzo, is just it just looks uber badass. And
Oh yeah.
Well, it's
you
also
can get any kit you want after that, but it looks cool.
well. The thing is it's also not going to break your bank too. That's the one thing, because whenever I first started looking at Gundam, and of course, Banyan was like, "Shit, that thing's only $20. I got one that's like $300." I'm like, no,
Yep.
no, I don't, because I mean, these kits, I mean, as a guy's done kits forever in all his life, it's not hard. It's pretty simple. This one is pretty simple. So I mean, it's just straightforward. The instructions are pretty good. There's not much that I've had to go over. I've had to kind of turn the part a bit, fiddle it. Okay, it goes this way. But there's only been like one piece. It was like the face mask. So I mean, it wasn't horrible. It wasn't whatever. So I mean, it's been pretty easy. And like I said, I could see this. So you use this in your class. Describe what you do in your class and how you would teach this in your class. Give us kind of a rundown of how that goes.
So it's a 2-hour course, which is is pretty normal for a Gen Con or Adepticon class length. The first 30 minutes is always lecture. I go through what each kit is, like the different types of kits, the sizes, the cleaning, the cutting of the sprue, the different tools you need, an X-Acto knife, a file, what type of files, emery boards, and I will have examples of everything because I buy an $8 kit that has everything I need, and what you can do beyond. And then the class will open up their kits just like you did, and they'll start with part 1, building the body, building the head, building the arms, and then I'll stop just at where you're at. And normally that's around the 90-minute mark in the class, and I will tell them about advancements of panel lining, painting, and other courses that were supposed to be done this year at Gen Con, but unfortunately didn't happen. But like one of my courses was going to be panel lining, just a quick 1-hour class on just panel lining your Gundam. And mostly it would be like one of these super deformed kits. Like, here, you get a $10 kit, put it together, practice your panel lining. And then painting I was gonna do, but again, like I said, never really got a chance to like make the class. But the main course is always the HG kit, build the head, build the body, build the arms, build the legs, and well, the class I had last year sold out, which was great for 15 students. And everybody had fun, and everybody asked, what's next? Where do I go from here? And that made me smile because it was my first class that I did for this, and already the ideas were, okay, we're going to show you how to do panel lining, we're going to show you how to do painting, we're going to show you how to do dioramas, and that can get very intense because it's like dioramas for any miniature except bigger. Like cotton ball clouds are a thing, like of explosions.
Oh yeah.
So the class is, it's a very informative class. I mean, I wrote it, so I'm hoping it's informative. But Lynn, when I gave it to Lynn, she's like, "Oh, cool. What about this?" Like, you know how Lynn is. She is particular for detail. And
you can't phone that shit in with Lynn.
Nope. When she asked me to teach 3 years ago, the first time, I thought she lost her damn mind. And she's like, "No, you got this. You can do this." I'm like, "Okay, you're crazy." But yeah, she's like, "I need you to teach cleanup and preparation of miniatures." I was like, "What's that?" She's like, "You're joking, right?" Like, but it's the same. Preparation and cleanup is required of any miniature and any Gundam kit. So pinning, magnetizing, you can do it on a Gundam kit. And that can just become, LED lights can be part of a Gundam kit. Very big thing for Gundams. It's like, you might not be able to do it on this kit, but the MG you got, Gonzo, I'm pretty sure you can add to it. Get those nice big LED lights to make it flash and make noise when you walk into the room. And
what? I don't need that.
I think John's still searching for that kit. I know it. Look at him. He's so
No, actually, I'm finding the Mad Cat / Timberwolf one for Manion, but I don't find one. I found a lot of pictures, really cool pictures, but not the actual.
Yeah,
kit.
this was like before. I want to say like late 2000, early 2005. So who knows if they even make that anymore? Like, there's some kits that you'll never find again, unfortunately, because they just ran out of print.
Yeah. Well, doesn't mean I can't look.
Yep.
Can't drool.
I can't. I occasionally find the little hidden gem on eBay or something, and spend more money than I'm supposed to.
Of course, we always do that.
I mean, it's not like I'm buying a lot of gaming stuff right now, since I got no pressing needs for my armies. They're all complete as far as I'm concerned.
Ta-da. So, in the time that we've done, how long has it been? Because I didn't start till about what 7:15 or so, give or take, because we had to do the other stuff.
8:15. I'm pretty sure Nestor's 8:15 also.
Yep.
Whatever.
So in about 45 minutes, you're at the part where the class is generally at. Even with me discussing and like answering questions and helping them with kids, it's right on course. Like the body is fairly simple. So yeah, about 90 minutes, most people are done. And again, this is your first kit that you built as a Gundam. When you start doing these types for this class, for like this series of the show Iron Blooded Orphans, they all pretty much come together the same way, and they make this kit the bigger version, a 1/100 kit, master grade size. So that just becomes. I was gonna do a real grade class, and that was going to be a 3-hour course, because the inner skeleton does make a difference.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And that alone is so intricate in detail that you're just like, okay, awesome.
Yeah, because I noticed that when I was looking at different ones and going to the different areas, that there was a skeletal one, and that was actually a question on a lot of when I was looking up on Amazon and eBay and all that. People were like, people ask, does this have an inner skeleton, or is it just like this one type thing? Which I thought was interesting, that there's an inner skeleton to these models. It just kind of, nothing wrong or anything. I was like, what, an inner skeleton, really?
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, there's an inner skeleton to it.
Yeah. To the point where the inside of the head has space to put an LED light on some of them. And you're like, wow. The real grade kit is a little bit more intense, I find, than a master grade kit, because the master grade kit has bigger pieces. So the real grade kit is smaller. It's like the 1/144th scale that you're looking there, but then you're adding the inner structure on top of that. So it's like all the smaller pieces that you would find on a master grade are now a little smaller on a real grade, and the amount of stickers on a real grade get crazy. Or decals, because they can actually use decals as well. So it depends on the kit.
Much better than stickers.
Yeah, you can actually order the decal. You can order decals instead of stickers for the kit.
Oh no, I choose life.
Actually, I've gotten pretty good at decals. Thanks a lot.
It's definitely a skill you can get. It's not a skill I have. Back at my Games Workshop today, we had a guy who would do the decals. I'm like, I need decals done. Sanchez, get them decals done for me. What do you need from me?
Right.
And he would take care of them. He was good with it. And then I would do something for him. And that's how the world worked.
So I think my daughter found out one of her favorite characters died on. Is it Grey's Anatomy? Yeah. Sorry.
As in the show, or the actor, or someone in the show?
For the show. She's watching the show, and I'm like, I've been through like ER, so like call me when you get to that. Like,
what are we at? What time are we at? 8:00.
Time.
So okay, upper torso, both arms, done.
That's
In about
That's how it
45
goes.
minutes. So not bad. I mean, it went together really quickly. I mean, I'm not filing, like there's like this part right here where it came together, and I'm not getting that down. And there's a little bit of mold line, but I'm like, you know what? I just want to get it together so I can go roar and pose it up and put it on one of my shelves.
Like I said, then you can take it apart and fix it up if you ever want to.
Because
Yeah.
there is none of this going on. As everybody knows, I thought it was interesting because now are all Gundam models glueless? They're all snap togethers, correct?
just about.
Just about.
Then, like I said, some of the perfect grades, you will have to screw in some pieces because they'll come in with like Phillip head screws and such. But majority of the time, it's kind of snapped together.
I mean, because I went together pretty quickly. The only thing I had an issue with was just making sure I had everything in the right way. But I mean, overall, it wasn't bad. It wasn't, horrible. It wasn't, super confusing.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
the one thing that I find can get very annoying, you see the ball socket on the waist area, that will tend to come out from the hip, the socket where you connect it to the bottom, to the body, to the rest of the body. The posability is limited in that because it will pop out. So the real grade has that inner structure that you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
And then anything above, any grade above this, some of the posability just gets a lot better, but the pieces it'll take you a lot longer. So it's kind of like
gotcha.
you just trade up.
Yeah, because I'm looking at it, and so right now I'm at legs. Next is the right leg. I'm just going to show some of the thing. I'm going to move out of the way a little, buddy. I'm at right leg. And it's, and then of course you go to left leg. Big surprise, big shocker, right?
Yep.
And then you're pretty much done with the model in its basic concept. You've got pretty much everything. And then the rest of the stuff is, hey, look, here's his backpack and the place where he keeps his, rapiers. And then, then it's got
multiple rapiers, of course, in case one breaks when he stabs it against something he shouldn't.
He actually stabs it and he'll leave it in there and just grab another one. So
Oh, so it's like the New York reload of swords.
pretty much,
Okay.
which again is why I like this bottle.
No, it's super cool. Like, I may be particular about the silliness of using a rapier against another mecha. That doesn't make it any less cool. It's just like, okay.
Yeah, and like you see that giant, the sniper rifle. I dropped that. I gave that to another model because he looked cooler with the rifle than he did with like a pistol. I was like, no, man, you look sniper worthy. You should have a sniper rifle.
Okay. Now, I did find this interesting that, they say on here, compatible with a BA for a round connector for Action Base 2, of course, sold separately and stuff. So they tell you which one you should get to do this. I'm kind of curious if I can 3D print that.
I wouldn't be surprised if they already make one an STL that you can find.
That's something I'm kind of curious about. Well, that was pretty easy. I mean, for just that part right there, I mean, of course, I'm a little bit, more than anybody else hobby builder. And so that was pretty quick and easy. Everything kind of moves pretty simple. Head, wobble, 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 wobble. Arm, shoulder, blah, blah, blah. Not a big deal. Everything seems to, flow. I could see if you sat here and just wiggled it a lot, it would, wear it out. But,
right,
type thing. But for the most part, you're going to pose them, put them up, put them on the shelf, and make them look badass. Like some of the other ones that I have over there. Not Gundam models, but just like the winged one that I have is not a model. It was just a toy. So, I mean, it was just put together, go, and be done. So let me switch over here. Let's go and go to our media section. I see Banyan decided to post something super, super big.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a link to a picture, but it did not work.
Did not. So I'm going to put this back over here, put that over there, and I can work on all those later. And let's go to our media section. Ha! Image link to a sword. Fell. So, does anybody have any questions? For Nestor, before we get started on media section, any Gundam related or model giant robot related stuff? Because John, of course, is probably looking at what he's going to be buying pretty soon because he's probably got links saved.
No, I'm not buying anything. They're out of stock.
He's like, I like that one. Oh yeah, that red ashtray sword is sweet.
Let me see.
Penny,
I'm
I
going to
like
take a
that.
look.
That's the big sword, yeah.
Yeah.
Look, I already found the Gypsy Danger and Gypsy Avenger. They're both out of stock, so I gotta buy anything. To be fair, I actually just bought a toy of Gypsy Danger anyways. Since last week, to be apropos for the Gunpla episode, I watched Pacific Rim, but...
See, that is a cool... I actually saw that at the store, not the store, but on USA Gundam, and I was like, now that's a cool looking Gundam. Now, on that link, is this model painted red, or is that the red the plastic is like?
It depends, because the red ashtray is actually a really good kit, but I think that's painted.
Gotcha. Because I know that I was telling... I want to find that. Hold on a second. Because there was this Gundam that was at there and at the store, and it was like $119. And I don't even know what one. Unicorn Gundam 3?
Oh yeah.
Because the model was actually gold, shiny gold and everything, and it looked really cool. Of course, right now I can't justify $119 for a Gundam kit, but it looked super, super legit, and I was like, oh, that's so cool looking, and everything. Yeah, that's which one it was. It was the Unicorn Gundam 3, something. I just thought it was really, really cool.
Yeah, some of the kits are just phenomenal. Like you look at it and you're like, wow, this is great. I can't wait to build it. And then you get the box and you open the box and you see the 40 different screws that come in the box, and you kind of close the box and put the box away, and you cry in your shower and you're like, what did I get myself into?
Well, that's what I did. Like I opened up each one of these as I got them, and I opened up the Full Metal Panic one, the RX-8, and I was like, okay, yeah, this is quite a bit, but nothing that I'm not, too horribly, afraid of. The kit looked really cool, and it's got a cool little pose. It's got a big old rifle and everything. I was like, okay, that's cool. And then I went and picked up, and I got the Gundam GP3S or whatever. And I was like, this box is big. This is going to be a big model. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I'm kind of looking forward to it because, all the models I build, of course, are the simple, tabletop miniatures type thing. And it's been forever since I put together a big model, a big toy type thing, because that's what these are, model toys. And I was like, this was really, really cool. And I can't wait to put it down and put all three models together and go, yeah, and fuck yeah type thing.
Yeah.
I wasn't... So building that part right there, building that one, of course, to me, it's going to look pretty plain because it's not painted. There's no stickers. There's no, panel lining and stuff. So I'm going to look in to see if I can get some panel lining because I know that if I put panel lining on that, that's just going to make that pop even more.
Yeah.
That's just going to make it's going to make it stand out a whole lot more. What do you recommend for panel lining?
Let me scoot over. I usually recommend the micro pens. The micro pen, like 0.05 size pen nibs. They're really thin, but also Tamiya makes one. So is it Tamiya? I'm gonna say Tamiya, but it's this type of panel lining. So it's panel line, accent color, and it has a little pen, has like a little brush on the tip of it.
Mm-hmm.
And you just dab it on there, and then you get rubbing alcohol to clean up the edges on a cotton swab to clean off any excess, and it'll look really smooth, really sweet. And the good thing is that you can get these in different colors. So like any artist, we know that sometimes black doesn't really work with a color. Maybe you want red, or with this, you maybe want purple, right? So maybe you want purple panel lining instead, or dark purple. you can do a lot, and you can do weathering. I actually learned how to weather my vehicles better by doing testing weathering on Gundams.
Gunpla? Awesome.
Mm. Bayon has a question. Can you show an example of your panel lining? Do you have a model that you've done some panel lining on? Here, I'll fix your. I'll make
Can you pass me the red Gundam model right there?
Let's do this.
Yep. Don't worry about it. It comes apart.
Got you full screen here so you can show it off.
All right. So, let's see if I can.
Go down because you're in the light. Other way. There you go.
All right. So, all this is panel lined with a micro pen, and normally it's just bare plastic. It's just red. So it does give it more definition. And that was my test. I was like, oh, let me do it on here, and it looks so much better than what the other. Oh, here's the other side.
Yeah, it's like there's plain plastic.
There's plain plastic and not plain plastic. So it just helps it look better.
Oh, God. So, funnily now, USA Gundam Store is showing up on my Facebook feed.
What? No.
I find that funny how that works.
Yeah. It's worse because they actually let off with some of the stuff I've been looking at on eBay.
Which they have a I do the reason why the Vidar that you're putting together, mine isn't panel lined or painted or anything. That's my teaching example. It's like, boom, here's mine. That's how it should look.
Mm-hmm.
You can, and it goes around to all my students, and then they break an arm, and I'm like, no.
Here, have it. So this is our media section where we talk about things that we've watched or seen or done anything. And as the guest, you are given first choice to talk about something. It could be a book, TV show, movie, whatever. We don't do spoilers, so if it's something new, just be careful with that. But we do have a rating system. We have 2 rating systems. A rating from Cats to Casablanca, and Cats being the worst movie ever made. Casablanca being the greatest movie ever made. And then we have our space herpes rating. The more space herpes, the worse the movie is. So if a movie is, Cats goes beyond 5 space herpes. Casablanca, 0 space herpes. So give us one of your media and review it for us.
Okay, so I have 2. So I just saw Umbrella Academy season 2.
Same here.
On Netflix. Comparing it to season 1, it wasn't better than season 1. It wasn't worse than season 1. It was on par. So I was
Correct.
very happy with it.
I'll agree with you on that.
How bad it was, I think the most it's going to get is maybe 2 space herpes from me.
Oh, man.
Because there was some parts where I was like, do we really need to go down this storyline? Like, can we just get to the part where they kick ass and but overall it was good series.
The fucking monkey
gets us. Right. I'll agree with you. There was a couple of episodes that we were like, I kind of faded out on. Right. That I just, I'm only going to give it 1 space herpes because it was good. The ending, the further along it got, the better it got. They did touch on a bunch of social issues in this one because they traveled back in time and everybody knows to 1963 or roughly around there. So I mean, they went with that. It only got 1 for me, but yeah, there was some I wouldn't say issues, but pacing is the best way to do it. Right. You're like, yeah, let's go. But I enjoyed it. I had a blast. There were some really cool things. I enjoyed it a lot. So 1 space herpes for me and 2 from Nessie. Let's get John. Do you have anything that you can give?
Well, sure. Yeah, I got done with season 3 of Clone Wars. Right. So I'll take it a week off to watch something else, then I'll watch season 4. And just so you know everything I see, that's because my other podcast, I said I was going to watch everything Star Wars. So I am watching all of it. I've watched the first two movies. Now I'm watching Clone Wars, and I'm trying to get through it so I can then watch, Attack of the Revenge of the Sith, and then go on to the better Star Wars stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's all after that. But this Clone Wars has been a slog. Apologies to everyone who loves it, rose-colored glasses. But season 4 and 5, I'm supposed to be getting really good, so I am hoping it has consistently gotten better.
Four does get better.
But since I have a week off, I've started watching season 2 of Jack Ryan. I was going to watch the current season of The Expanse, but I wanted to go anti-sci-fi since everything else I do right now is sci-fi. So with Jack Ryan, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm 2 episodes in. I enjoyed the first season very much. I'm not going to give it a full rating yet, but I very much like where they're going. They've got some elements from the books that they're reskinning and putting in here. Some of it's kind of see-through, but not in a bad way. Like you're like, oh, this is going to happen. Yeah, it happens.
Yeah.
So that's the way you think, and I am very much liking it. I am interested to see where it goes. So positive so far. We're looking at a tentative low space ripy rating for Jack Ryan season 2, but we will see how it ends up. I got some more episodes to go in 2 weeks, and a whole week or 2 to watch it. So it was all good.
I like Jack Ryan.
Yeah, I've always liked Tom Clancy stuff. It's actually, let's say, the first adult novels I read. Anything not made for YA back when I was a teenager. My mom got me. We both read the Tom Clancy novels and loved the crap out of them. Movies were all, pretty solid. I didn't watch the one with Captain Kirk in it, but I saw
Chris Pine. Yeah,
Chris Pine. The one with Ben Affleck was fine. It wasn't amazing. But overall, I've liked the whole series. Looking forward to finishing this.
Yeah, Tom Clancy is one of my favorite authors.
Oh yeah.
So.
All right, Nessie, what's your next one?
So, Jim Butcher is actually one of my favorite authors. And I didn't read Peace Talks. I did one of the short stories. So it's Brief Cases for the Dresden Files.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember when Jim Butcher was actually at Gen Con. So I rushed over to get a signature of one of my books. But I'm listening to an audiobook of Brief Cases, and it's actually going to get one Space RFP because I'm a big fan, so maybe I'm a big bias, but it also it's short stories in between all the novels of the Dresden Files, so it kind of gives you some clarity of all the stuff that's out there. So it's actually pretty good.
See, Nessie, you've now supplanted me as Banyan's best friend because you liked the Dresden Files. I found them to be okay. I read the first 3 books and was like, they're fine. There's nothing wrong with them. Not much wrong with them. They're okay.
Yeah.
It's just not my jam.
Yeah, they're great though. Well, for me, it's more of Dresden. Dresden does I didn't grow up like the main character Harry Dresden, but a lot of what he went through as a kid, I went through as a kid, being a nerd, and we all been through that, right? So you don't really fit in anywhere. You're it touched more of how I was growing up a lonely child. I had a stepsister, but she didn't live with me, so it's very different. And then the character just grows for me. So from now, he's he's pretty cool. He's not exactly the way I turned out, but I kind of came out on top. So sorry, Harry.
That would be the story of his life, I believe.
Yes, that's the way it goes. Parker Luck.
Also this week, since I have HBO Max, I started looking to see what I could watch on there because I was like, ooh, what's on HBO Max? It's not on HBO, all the other ones. And I found that Doom Patrol, that HBO Max has the DC shows and the DC network attached to it. So I was like, do it.
Does it really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, HBO Max has the DC network attached to it.
I should probably have logged into that and found out. You may have saved me make things easier to mail then, because Batman Ninja might actually be on that then, dog.
I haven't checked. I'm gonna go check. I was wondering what shows, because I was gonna go check.
Save me some problems then. You can go straight to mail on that DVD to Kathy then.
So I'll check to see if it's on there. But Doom Patrol is on there. Everybody knows Doom Patrol is a DC comic, and it's kind of a off of the rails type. I think it's what for the Elsewhere series is where it was. It's kind of it's not your typical superhero show.
Oh, definitely not. It was never your typical superhero comic.
Correct. And so I was like, oh, cool. I'm going to sit here and watch it because I was like, I like quirky, weird type of superhero stuff, and Doom Patrol really fits this. And then I saw who was in it, and I was like, hell yes, I'm watching this. And the cast is just great. John, who are the top bill casts? I know you're looking it up. Oh, I figured you'd be looking. It's like the first thing you do.
Nick Cage.
If Batman's on it or not. There's more important things to do
Yeah,
now.
more important things.
I know Nick Cage plays one of the robots.
Okay, so the cast, which I thought was interesting. We go to it. I'm going to read off them all their names. Because I was like looking, I was like, where's this person from? Where's this person from? We have Matt Boomer, which is from the old White Collar TV show, which I really loved him in that. Playing Timothy Dalton's in it. Yeah. April Bowley, which is another, Diane Guerrera, and of course Brendan Fraser. That guy hasn't done anything in forever, and he's in this, and I was like, yes. Of course, this is an adult style comic book superhero movie, TV show. Tons of cursing. I haven't seen any nudity that I know of that I've seen, but I mean, definitely tons of cursing, blood and guts, type of thing. So I mean, it definitely hits the adult factor, but it's been pretty fucking good. I was really, really enjoying it right now. Of course, the story is way off the rockers. Interdimensional demons and interdimensional stuff and fighting and everything. I mean, I knew about Doom Patrol as a comic. I never got into it. I think I may have read one or something, and I was like, okay, cool, type thing. But I'm really digging all the characters in this. There's a lot of fun. The cast works really well. I find it funny that Cyborg is in this one because I don't remember Cyborg being part of Doom Patrol.
No, he's not.
But he is in this, which I thought was interesting. Which is okay because I mean I don't have a problem. It's a DC person. Cool, keep going with it. As long as we concentrate on what Doom Patrol is, I don't care. There is some really great lines. They touch on a lot of social subjects, which is really good because that's what some of their things they did in the comic. I'm really enjoying it right now. I'm maybe giving it maybe half a space herpes because there's some episodes that it's kind of weird. Like an episode could be an hour long to 50 minutes long to an hour and a half long. It's not every episode is like an hour long.
I kind of like that actually. I mean, you don't need the episode to be any longer than they have to be, right?
Correct. It's just weird. I know because I was like watching this episode and I'm like, man, this is taking a long time, and I pause it and it's like an hour and 35-minute episode, and I'm like, dang. Okay, cool. I mean, I can watch this show and put together models, but I was thoroughly enjoying it. I was liking everything that was about it. It's really good. It's dark when it needs to be dark. It's got some good comedic value. One of the things they touch on is older superheroes in the show, which I thought was a very interesting thing, and type stuff. But I mean, it's really good. If you have HBO Max, you can get it. It gives you the DC shows, and that was one of the things on there. I haven't even got through season 1 yet, but I know season 2 just recently came out, so I don't know if we're getting season 3 yet, but I'm really liking it.
Cool.
So
I did just look, and Ninja Batman is not on HBO Max.
Is it probably too soon or something?
No, it's been out for a while. I don't know. Nor is Batman versus Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which is too bad. So I guess it's just some other things at play there. Who knows? But they do have Battle Angel Alita, which I may have to rewatch.
Oh yeah.
Do they have like the other DC cartoons, like Justice?
There was quite a few. Quite a few.
Like Justice League versus Teen Titan, or versus versus Teen Titans. They have Batman Under the Red Hood. They've got quite a few of them, but not all of them. I'm sure there's some very specific reason why they have what they have, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah, Batman versus the Red Hood was actually a very good cartoon. So
They
good.
honestly, I wish they would have been more consistent at being in the same universe, but most of those were really good. Like my buddy at I used to work with, Adam, used to let me borrow stuff, and they were all pretty good. Some of them were the equal of the comic they were based off of. Some maybe not so much, but close. So, but it's cool to see they have that there. That's more functionality. I only have HBO Max because I'm going to have to watch the Snyder cut of Justice League when that comes out.
See,
that's my push. It's like I want to see that, but now with all the DC cartoons, I can watch that. So
knowing what Zack Snyder's about compared to Joss Whedon who took over it, I don't want to see that, but I feel like I need to see that.
Right, it's like watching two trains collide. I know it's a bad idea, but I'm still gonna.
As someone who's seen both versions of Batman vs Superman, the regular and the Ultimate, let me just first say, I don't know why I do this to myself, and two, watch the fucking Ultimate. It is categorically better.
I've heard.
I don't care if it's longer. It's just plain better.
Well, I was just really surprised that they had DC attached to that.
Yeah, I was surprised.
Yeah,
They were trying to make their own streaming service. Maybe they're gonna nix that because I don't think. I mean, I was surprised. Like DC doesn't have enough to really be worth its own streaming service. No offense, DC. Like Marvel's in with Disney, so they got the easy there. But you can't tell me you're gonna get a streaming service for any reasonable price a month that is just DC.
Yeah, which I thought was interesting was because I'm sitting there and I'm like, signed up the account, was looking through it, and there's a couple of shows on there that I wanted to see, some movies. And I'm like, cool. And then I was kind of going down, and it's like, DC's attached to this. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What? And then I clicked through it and started looking. It's like Doom Patrol. I'm like, done. There's, I'm gonna watch this. I mean, because like I said, it's quite a few episodes. I binge watched Umbrella Academy in like one day, season 2, and then when I watched Doom Patrol, there's no way I'm gonna get through. I could get through one season, in that time because there was just a lot to it. But I'm definitely happy about it. So,
yeah,
I mean,
think that's going to be more of the new way of streaming. The big dogs will keep their streaming service, and they'll attract some of the little dogs to them. And you may see little dogs change from service to service if they get more popular.
Yeah.
But I think that's going to be the way forward because we're going to reach critical mass quickly. I mean, Peacock just came out not that long ago for NBC.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as I know, they don't have anything flagship like Star Trek Discovery to keep them going.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see how that. I think that's what we're looking at.
That was my only reason for getting CBS All Access was I wanted to see Star Trek Discovery.
Oh yeah.
And then
I don't know what you think, Nestor, but I think it's fucking worth the money, just straight up.
No.
Thank you.
Seeing Picard and then seeing Star Trek Discovery after Picard, and I'm like, I'm good. I'll wait for the next seasons. I watch FBI Most Wanted. Like I watch all these other crime shows, Criminal Minds. I'm like, I'm good.
I'm going to get NCIS, and I love NCIS, and I haven't watched it in forever, but the X and I used to love watching NCIS. So, super cool.
I upgraded to coffee.
Oh, okay. I'm still finishing.
I finished my scotch. But so, Nessie, we're coming to the end of the podcast. When do you stream? Where can people find you? Blah, blah, blah. So on and so forth.
So, streaming has been a hit or miss thing. I'm trying to do Mondays at 10 p.m. Eastern, so 9 p.m. Central, mainly because my daughter's already asleep. So, and I normally stream for about an hour to 2 hours, depending on what I'm working on. This week we'll be working on Gundams because I am running out of space. Somebody bought too many kits. But I stream on twitch.tv/Nessie Knows. But if you miss it, obviously replay, and then I just carry it over to YouTube. Shocking. Also, Nessie Knows. Facebook, Nessie Knows. I do a lot of different things on my Facebook page, but it's the same on my Twitch. So it's Star Wars Legion, Marvel Crisis Protocol, A Song of Ice and Fire. It just ranges. So whatever's on my Twitch and my Instagram and Twitter and smoke signals. I make smoke signals if you follow that.
Which Talk about Song of Ice and Fire. Did you see the Simon panel?
Yes. So
Yeah.
I'm very excited about the mammoths. I don't play free folk. I'm just looking forward to killing those things so I can have like new carpets.
And also dragons.
Dragons. I don't play Targaryens. I play Baratheons.
Yep.
Because Robert, the beard, the beard thing. But my friend is super excited. He's like, I get all 3 dragons, and I'm like, all right, calm down. I'm gonna kill them too. But he wrecks face with his Targaryens and his free folk, so I already know I'm in trouble.
Yeah, they had a pretty good panel of release and stuff and everything, so I'm looking forward to it. Guys, go ahead and go follow. We did put a link up there on Nessie's Twitch page. You can find them all on Facebook. Nessie Knows. Give that guy some love. Show him what you want and what you have. Check him out. Of course, we'll have this up online so people can listen to it later, Nessie, so you can link it and go, hey, type thing and talk about Gundam.
Look, I did something.
I'm probably going to finish working on this model and post it up as soon as I can, because depending on what happens, as soon as I get everything loaded. Nessie, we want to thank you for coming on and talking Gunpla. It's been a kind of a hot topic we wanted to get done. We're glad you're doing better and everything, and you're healthier right now. So
yeah. Putting floor tiles and not eating that day, and all of a sudden not like crashed hard. And my folks are like, "What's wrong with you?" I'm like, I don't know. Get me to the hospital.
Remember, take care of yourself.
Yep.
Fluids. Make sure you're eating your meals. Wearing your mask. Check on each other.
Wash your hands.
Wash your hands.
Keep your hands away from your eyes.
Mm-hmm. Hard time with that, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. So guys, for More Than Dice, I'm Gonzo.
I'm John.
I'm Nessie.
Everybody have a good night.
Night.
Night. Nessie, thanks for coming on, man. We really appreciate it. It's been awesome. The next time we can get together, I definitely need to kick your butt in Song of Ice and Fire.
That'd be awesome. Were you planning on doing that?
We couldn't find anybody that was willing to do it, but I want to do it definitely when DEFCON comes around.
Oh yeah,